As you know, 4.4 has dropped, and now we have Cloud Retainer, aka Xianyun, as a playable character now, and I'm gassed, and I can't wait to talk about everything I've discovered about her playstyle, her kit, and just everything that I like about her. She is a 5-star Animo plunge attack buffer character. That is what everyone knows, that is the basics, and now let me get into the finer details. And if you do like this video, please like and subscribe to my channel, and go into the comments below and in my description where I will have my Twitch linked, so you can go follow me up and have an amazing blast watching me live. Without further ado, let's get in, stop being a dickhead, and keep watching. I do recommend you watch until the end because I'm going to be revealing some really weird playstyles that I've discovered that actually might work. So just stick around for that, and I love you. Now, her being Animo is already a massive buff in itself. Considering the fact that Animo is probably one of the best support elements, it can carry 4-piece VV, meaning that she can just buff elements extremely well just from an artifact set. So that's already a massive plus. Now, as you probably know, Xianyun's predominant attacking is her normal plunging attack. Just doing her plunge alone without doing anything else, just stop, don't do that. Trust me, there are people dumb enough that need to be told that. The main source of her own personal damage would come from her elemental skill. The elemental skill allows her to climb up steps every time she uses it. Xianyun jumps up 3 times while pressing her elemental skill 3 times, and every single time she does that, the scaling of her thing grows up. Every time she does that, the scaling of the attack itself will go up. Keep in mind, in order to get these stacks, her ELO ladder jumping has to deal damage, but that won't be an issue for you, right? Now onto the probably juiciest part of her kit, the one everyone's talking about, the one that is the reason I'm making this video and talking about how she's like one of the most unique supports in the whole entire game, and it is her elemental burst. Now, many people who build her without even looking at her will probably try to build as much HP as possible because her burst does heal all party members, and most healers scale with HP, but she actually does not scale on HP. Now, when she unleashes her burst, after her burst heals all your party members, she'll summon this Star Wicker mechanism, which turns all your party members into basically another Zhao. Well, every single time a character plunges within her burst, it will also deal AoE dendro damage alongside of that normal character damage, which allows for a constant refresh of the VV artifact set, and stuff I'll be covering in a second. Her first passive is a really nice crit rate bonus that goes out to all party members, and all you really have to do is just hit people with your elemental skill. So that is an important part of your kit. Even if you're not going out for main damage, it can give you some nice crit rate if you hit everything. So yeah, keep that in mind. Her second isn't bad, but it is kind of weird. When you still have stacks from your burst, any active character's plunging attack shockwave damage will be increased by 200% of her attack. And keep in mind, this isn't base attack like Bennett and Sarah, this is actual attack, like kind of like Shenhe is built. So yeah, keep that in mind. And I'll get into that further when I discuss the builds. And why this passive is so weird is that it has a set maximum amount of damage that it can actually be increased by. As you can see here, it says 9,000 damage is the max increase. This may not seem like a massive bonus, but keep in mind, this is every single plunge attack. You're dealing this much additional damage, and that really adds up. If you do keep in mind, now this is because the burst originally gives 8 stacks of this effect, which means for 8 hits, this will be increased by 9k. Do 8 times 9, and you are giving yourself a nice 72,000 damage per rotation, which for some characters like Zhao could be an extra plunge that you're getting just from having this passive effect, which is not bad in the slightest. Now, I think she's extremely easy to build as a character because you really need to stack only one thing on her, and that is attack. If you want the maximum bonus from her low passive here, you just want to build, you know, attack sands, attack goblet, attack circlet, attack percent substats on everything. As you can see here, healing does not stack off of HP, but it actually scales off of attack, and so does the continuous healing. So keep that in mind. Don't build a HP, just slap on attack on her and she'll be a meaty support for you. Now, I've seen a lot of people talking about putting the new artifact set on her, but in my opinion, most of you aren't going to have any of that artifact set in your place yet. A lot of people won't have that artifact set at hand because of how shit the domain is for it, considering the only 2 characters that's really good on is her, and then you got the other set for Navia, and that's it. So I'd personally go with VV if you want the maximum buffs for your team, and if you want to see big numbers. So due to the lack of that set really being available for most people, I'd recommend you stick with 4-piece VV, stack attack on her, and you'll have a amazing night. Now let's talk playstyles. What instantly comes to mind is the official plunging DPS, which is Zhao, and you can't disagree that he's a really good option with her, and just a person that synergizes with her well. If you don't see that, you're just stupid. For the longest time, I've seen Hu Tao hit some really strong plunge attacks for no reason, and I really always wanted to capitalize off of it. And now, if I did decide to pull for her, I would be able to do that, and whoever does want to do that, they really can now. And there's nothing stopping you doing that. It's not like it's going to be inconsistent for you to do those plunge attacks, because now there's a character which enables it completely. If you'd like to use Xianyun and Hu Tao together, I'd say it's an absolute W. Now the next on the hit list are catalyst characters. Every single catalyst character plunges with AoE damage of their set element, unlike characters like swords and others. This infusion is very powerful, as it really does work with Xianyun a lot, considering the fact that you're not doing physical damage, you're now doing elemental damage, which can be surprisingly strong with some characters, but only really if you're going to build them that way. Now for the longest time, people have been capitalizing off a way to make Diluc ever so stronger through this way of making him do plunge attacks, but that was really inconsistent, except if you were really good at it. Well, now that issue is completely solved with Xianyun, and pairing her with Diluc is just going to be an amazing choice for you. And further in the talk, we're going to have to talk about characters which have and provide. Now we're going to talk about characters which give and already have elemental infusions as a part of their kit. For the longest time, Bennett's C6 was very questionable, as it gave an infusion to an element which could, which would break some teams. With Bennett's C6, you can unlock a lot of characters which can do plunge attack pyro damage, and there really is no punishment for it because you're already doing pyro damage and you're getting the pyro damage bonus and you're getting the attack buff. So that C6 can be so helpful if you're trying to build a character for plunge attacks, like for a joke, or a character that could legitimately work for it. But my eyes lie on a character long forgotten, Candice. I'm generally sure like 90% of the player base don't even know that she has like hydro infusion and she can give it to the whole party, because now with plunge attacks it can be utilized so much more. Just honestly, just great teams in general. I think even with this kind of capability, Candice will still probably not grow in pick rate, or she won't really become that popular, because her kit really exists for a character that doesn't exist yet. So it's just weird. Now let's talk about some characters who already have elemental infusions with their weapons, aka plunge attacks, and that is Alhaitham and Keqing. Now both of them have plunge attack. In a lot of playstyles and a lot of rotations, you're going to be using their ease to teleport in the air and then plunge back down to deal a lot of damage. While with the Xianyun, you can just keep doing this constantly and getting that nice feeling of scoring plunge attacks. Even though I don't have the capabilities to test this out in practice, I'm sure someone in the comments can explain for you and for me. So thank you very much for that. So what is my takeaway from all this? In my opinion, Xianyun is an amazing 5-star support which doesn't give the best support in the game. She isn't the best support character by far, but she unlocks a whole new playstyle for a lot of characters and makes some other characters more viable than others now. And she just makes the game just so much better, considering the fact that her own playstyle is completely unique and the playstyle she gives to others is really unique, which basically turns into a character which, if you're getting bored of the game, or if you want to do something new, you should totally pull for her if you just want an experience which will be unforgettable. Because some characters can legitimately do a lot of plunge attack damage. Like I've seen Raiden Shoguns, Hu Tao's doing upwards of like 300k a plunge. It's not a joke. Xianyun will consistently provide you with the buffs you need to have a plunge attack team, constantly applies VV, so you already know she's a perfect support in my eyes, not for her strength, but for how good she makes the game feel and how unique she makes it. And that's about it for everything today. Thanks for listening to me up. I hope you have all an amazing day. Like, comment, and look in the description and in the comments for my Twitch, which you should follow, mate, because I'm going to get livid on there with the lads. And by lads, I mean you lot. So get in there!